Okay, so this is the project demonstration for Project 10, the Hall Thruster Visualization. I'm going to go over the basic functionality of our web application, what it looks like from the user perspective, what it looks like in the repository as far as GitHub, our personal document repository on Google Drive and Tega, and also we'll take a look at the code base. So this is the basic structure of the web application right here. We've got our mission header with the logos, a picture of the Psyche orbiter itself, and the slogan for the Psyche mission. If you click on the image, it changes over to some information documentation, and the idea is that we will be able to go through and replace some of these static images with the 3D models, and also add the entire assembly of the Psyche orbiter as a manipulatable 3D model. And down at the bottom of the web page, excuse me, we're going to have some extra information, so applications, how it's being used specifically in the Psyche mission, and we've also got that necessary disclaimer. As sort of a development tool for us, sort of a proof of concept, we have one of the 3D models embedded here. So this is the discharge chamber without any sort of texture file, so this is just sort of the raw OBJ. And you can see it reverse tracks the cursor. And so the user will be able to click and drag in the final implementation, but this is the sort of the default viewability with Three.js, which is what we're using for the 3D modeling, or 3D model viewing for this project. So that is the basics of what the application is going to be. The biggest shortcomings right now are that we have the 3D model down at the bottom and not interspersed with the informational stuff up here, and that the model tracks the cursor rather than being able to click and drag and rotate and things like that. But those are pretty minor details. We'll be able to swap the PNG files up here out for just the OBJ files with Three.js and things like that. It's just sort of some tidying up left to do. We're also going to add a little bit more to the website as far as some social media links and a menu bar for navigation, and pretty this up a little bit. So that's the front-facing part. That's the web application itself. If we look at the repository, we've got quite a few branches going for different tasks, but we're tracking the majority of our work in dev and master. And so we've got the Hall Effect Thruster folder here, which is the main code base for what's going on, and we'll take a look at that in our IDE in just a sec. The parts in progress, these are the SolidWorks files that we have as far as the 3D models themselves. We're keeping those separate from the repository for now. And the visualizer and Hello 360 are artifacts of some previous iterations we've done on trying to get the 3D modeling to work, so those will not appear in the final code base itself. We also have our personal repository here on Google Drive, so we keep our things like meeting minutes and our design documentation. We have an artifact review video here and some planning documentation, as well as some preliminary ideas that we are still sort of working through. We have our Tega, so we're managing our different sprints here on different sprint pages, and this is how we manage individual tasks and user stories and things like that. And in our wiki, we've also got our meeting minutes, quality policies, planning minutes, things like that. So yeah, this is the actual code base itself. So as I showed earlier, this is just the Hall Effect Thruster visualization folder. The other folders don't actually participate in the actual viewing itself. So we've got the components separated out into their own React component here. So we've got one for the banner. This is the informational banner that you see up here, is broken out into its own component. The home view, which is this whole piece here, is its own component, and all of that stuff. That's sort of the beauty of React, is that it's all broken out into these separate components. We've got some utility components here for loading the different 3D image files, things like that. We have some other configuration things like a Babel.rc and package.json and a Travis thing and stuff like that. So we also have all of our assets separated out into separate folders. And these are the pieces of Three.js that we've been keeping also in a separate directory. So that is what the basic file structure looks like. Public is all sort of the index.html and the favicon and things like that that we need to have that aren't part of the React portion of it as well. So that is the basic structure of our application. We are doing pretty well. We're feeling pretty good about where we are for the end of the semester. Mostly just some tidying up and some beautification stuff left to do. The actual 3D models are done with the exception of one more piece. In fact, I can show the models. In here we've got the discharge chamber, the magnetic rings, and the propellant injector are all done and ready to be embedded as soon as we get to that phase in the progress. So yeah, we're feeling good. We're ready to get started on the next semester.